Well guys, I found myself in Huachuca City in Arizona because it's time for another road trip, courtesy of Sewell Motor Coach. So he found a 2013 Newmar Ventana here at RV City in Havasu City in Arizona, and asked if I could take a look at it before it gets shipped all the way back to Kentucky. So I'm just gonna do a preliminary inspection. But I think Doug found another beautiful Newmar. He sure likes these Newmars. But what I will tell you on this quick preliminary inspection, just to make sure that it is what it says it is, one thing I'm gonna look for is gonna always be the date codes on the tires, checking or paint damage on the outside, or fiberglass damage, obviously the roof. More importantly, I'm gonna look underneath, make sure there's no oil leaks, make sure the generator works, the windshield doesn't have huge cracks or chips in it. It's also a very good idea to make sure that the slide outs work, especially if they were already ran out for you. But most importantly, on this era of Newmar, make sure the upholstery is not in bad shape, because this is about the year where the upholstery started to fall apart. And luckily, everything looks good on this. You'll normally see it on the armrest and the head right there first. And there's my mom.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, looks pretty good. I'm gonna check with Doug. We'll get this thing finalized and we'll drive it back to the shop. Let's go ahead and put, oh, that's right, Newmar puts it over here. The other two slide outs in. Just make sure everything's clear. We got those chairs out of the way. Yeah. All right, Mom, thanks for joining me on the adventure. Let's get this thing loaded up. We got a tow vehicle with us and we'll just drive it back to the shop.
Thanks for the invite.
All right, I got it all loaded up. I want to thank the whole crew here at RV City. Very, very kind people, especially Toby. He was nice to work with. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the shop. Well, good morning. I'm back at the shop. We got the 2013 Ventana from RV City there in Huachuca, Arizona. And I pointed out to Doug when I picked it up that even though the tires look pretty good, and the dealer said the owner always kept the coach stored indoors out of the sun, these are from the 7th week of 2013, which means these are over 10 years old. And Doug agrees, along with me, that we probably shouldn't drive this thing across country with 10-year-old tires because it's in really good shape and there's no body damage on it. So let's keep it that way by not having a blowout. So before I can do an inspection, I gotta go get some tires on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and load it up and get it down over to the tire store and get some new tires put on. Then we'll try to do an inspection. But of course, before I can take this 360 horsepower Cummins to go get some new shoes on it, the trip back from Huachuca, Vincent, or Sierra Vista, Arizona, almost run me out of fuel, so I need to go get some gas or some diesel real fast. Luckily, there's a commercial fueling station just down the street from my shop. All right, so we'll put that visor to good use. Ah, they changed the name of it. See if the card's still good or not. Looks like it is. EFS. I think that's the card I have. All right, I'll fill this up and then I'll go get some tires. Okay. 80 gallons we took. That's about empty. Let's go get some tires. We made it to Ultimate Wheel and Tire here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Worked with them a lot, with a lot of different dealers, and they did me a good favor by getting me in as early as possible the next day. So we're gonna get some new tires on this thing.
Instead, I'm gonna put you where that white Chevy is.
Okay.
It's in the back right there. I just gotta jump it.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, just leave it here?
Yep.
All right, let's get some new kicks on this guy. Be perfect for a trip to Harrodsburg, Kentucky to go see Sewell Motor Coach without having blowout damage on it. It's a good choice, Doug. But they definitely do a lot more than just RV tires in here. Well, there's the mobile truck I normally see. Look at that, off the ground even. Now would be the time to do a nice inspection on the suspension, but I don't want to bother anybody. Well, thanks a lot, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, look at that. We made it back to the shop one more time. gonna go ahead and do the inspection now on this 2013 Newmar Ventana. Of course, like always, we'll start at the roof and then I'll take you guys up there. But before we do that, I need to run the slide out rooms back out again so I can take a look at everything on the roofs of all the slide outs too. Now, of course, I already ran these slide out rooms in, but when you're doing an inspection, it's very important to run them in and out to make sure that they do operate nicely without making weird noises or jumping around. So of course, before we get on the roof, we go ahead and check all the seals right here. Now I can tell you, when I was at the dealership, that's one of the first things I checked, was to make sure that the floors of the slide outs weren't rotten and the seals weren't missing anything. Now it's not as important on a Newmar, but you do want to check where the roof radius does meet the sidewall to make sure it's not coming loose. And because I'm in my shop, I can use an actually A-frame safety ladder to get up and inspect underneath the slide out toppers on these Newmar roofs. Now, this is a EDPM rubber roof membrane that Newmar does use on the roofs of slide outs, the slide outs only. Luckily in 2013 they'd already switched to a gel coat fiberglass roof from the membrane roofs that they had on their diesel pushers from the early 2000s. Check out the full wall slide out over here. Got my high-tech flashlight. Look for any damages or anything I can see, and I don't see anything. And I think we're ready to get on the roof. And although I could probably safely transfer from my ladder to the roof, I still do like to use the factory provided ladders to get on roofs, especially when I'm doing a roof inspection, because we need to test to make sure the ladder's not going to fall off for whoever's going to use it, and then climbing it's going to show whether these feet are loose from the roof. So this is a gel coat fiberglass roof, so it's not a membrane roof and it's not a sheet roof like Phylon. It's going to be the same thing that I have on my Beaver Patriot Thunder. It's not a true seamless roof because there is a seam in the back. That's okay, I have a seam in the back of mine too. They just have some stick-on vinyl body molding that they paint just for cosmetic purposes. This roof repair tape or Eternabond is just a flashing. It will get a little bit of damage where the ladder is, where people climb on and off. It's not a vital part of the sealant, it's just a flashing to move everything around. It is sealed very well where the roof itself, the fiberglass roof meets the framing down below and where the fiberglass rear cap meets. Might be hard to see, there is a little bit of checking in this fiberglass. Now this is a molded fiberglass rear cap. We'll check these clearance lights. They're a little bit crazed or cracked on them, but they're not leaking that I can see, and they're not broken. Go ahead and inspect down the side of this. Looks like our Newmar label has seen a little bit better days. Now the dealership told me the owner kept this covered and inside, but these clearance lights and that label or that decal tells me maybe not completely inside, maybe just covered. An interesting thing you might see right here, it looks like it's all muddled or muddy. Newmar adds all the way along with some roll-on material using actually a roller, or a paint roller. So that is supposed to be there so that the roof is not slippery when you're up here. Even though this is a fiberglass roof, Newmar is using an acrylic self-leveler. It's not Dicor. This stuff is a little bit harder than Dicor. Whoever resealed this, probably Flow Seal. I don't really like Flow Seal because it does get brittle and hard like that. Dicor will stay quite pliable. And it does have the Newmar sewer vents. The plastic is starting to fail. I could probably break this easily, but everybody gets mad when I break them easily. So I'll just make a note of it. There's a little bit of a gap on the body molding there. And of course this molding right there, you can see that screw is loose. So that molding's loose too. So we do need to make a note of that. On the side right here, that's just gonna be a 100% silicone sealant. Same stuff you'll get at the home store. This stuff is just clear. There's a little bit of checking going on this radius here. So maybe a little bit more sun than we were told it was. Alright, this material's in pretty good shape. We'll go ahead and snap it. Okay, the springs actually work on that one, even though it's quite long, probably about 30 feet, because this is a 34-foot RV. Come the other side right there. This sealant looks really good. A little bit of checking in the radius again. This material looks like it's in pretty good shape. And it's just a standard acrylic material. I would almost assume it's original. Look at that, there's some overspray, so something got painted on this after the fact. You can see it on the awning, so the factory didn't do that. Somebody's painted this thing, which is fine. It means they're taking care of it. But there is checking. Now that checking, there's not much that can be done on fiberglass checking in the industry. It's just a fact of life. The industry has said that happens to fiberglass over time. And it's pretty common in the darker color paints. Come to this rear roof AC. Newmar bolts these down from above. On the rubber roofs, you'd always have a rotten roof somewhere around the bolts at the front right there. But since they switched to fiberglass, you don't have to worry about that so much. We'll take a look at the skylight here. Definitely the sealant is cracked. This is the original sealant. This is what it should look like, and it's still pretty pliable. As you can see, it's more of a die-core where this stuff is brittle. So somebody's resealed it with probably the wrong stuff. I would still recommend we clean and reseal this, but I'm not, oh, that flange is a little bit loose right there. I don't see any cracks coming through the flange. Just a clean and reseal is all we probably need. Check out the awning or the awning gutter there. That looks like it's secured. Arms are secured. I'm not seeing any issues there. I'll duck underneath. We look good. I guess we already looked under there, so we don't have to look under that slide out either. So those two sewer vents, I can look at them and tell you that the plastic's a little bit degraded on it too. Maybe I would recommend new ones, but we'll try to put that on a little bit better. And on the fantastic vents here, you can see somebody resealed it and that sealant is cracked too. Likely it's not leaking. It's just going to be a cosmetic issue, but I will make a note of it. And somebody did what I've done before and stepped on their brand new sealant. Now, because this is a full-length slide-out topper, they do have the roller support right there. It will cause a little bit of more rattle when it's going in and out and damage the fabric a little bit. But surprisingly, it hasn't damaged this fabric at all. Just a little bit of a wear mark. That's really impressive. We have a satellite dish here. This is a Winegard Road Trip. It can be set up for Dish Network or DirecTV. Sealant looks fine, and it's mounted okay. Good job. They even put the connections at the back like they're supposed to. On the front roof AC right here, a little bit of scuff on the shroud, but nothing detrimental. And I don't think it was loose. Nope. There's a TV antenna. There's a standard Batwing TV antenna, but it does have the Wingman upgrade to it. Again, this will crank up from the inside. I guess our boot's loose. Let's make a note of that. But like I try to tell everybody, these are digital antennas. They will get pretty good reception in the down position. You usually don't have to crank these up anymore unless you're really far off grid and away from the city. But at that point, I wouldn't be trying to get signal anyways, but that's just me. Saves you from having to remember to crank it down afterwards. All right, if we look past there, this radio mast, the sealant looks fine, but the radio mast itself might be hard. It's cracking. I feel like if I bent it too much, it would probably just break in half. So I was getting reception inside, so I think we're good there. Sirius XM antenna and GPS antenna. This does have a GPS navigation on the dash radio. Our air horns, the industry's done us all a favor by moving these trumpets off the roof and underneath now on all new coaches, even though I agree that having the air horn trumpets on the roof is pretty awesome. It kind of makes it look awesome, but taking them off the roof does eliminate a few possibilities of leaks. And this sealant did not like a Turnabond or roof repair tape, I'm sorry. So probably need to reseal this and clean it up because that's not doing anything at all. Over here we have a Zamp Solar battery maintainer. This should be for the chassis battery. It just maintains a fully charged battery, does not charge a dead battery, and is mostly a gimmick like I always try to explain to everybody. It's probably like 5 or 8 watts of solar power. Just barely enough to overcome the natural discharge rate of a lead acid battery. If we look over here, I think we're looking pretty good. I recently just saw a hole in the sidewall of a slide out, so It's always good to look down this way here. It's not ever a bad idea to take a look at the tops of windows to make sure that cap seal is still good. I like to run it down a little bit more than this, but never underneath because we don't want to trap water. Traveling all the way down here, that sealant looks pretty good. A little bit of a gap, that's just going to be cosmetic again. We could touch that up with silicone. And even though I'm sure the factory installed this roof repair tape correctly, believe it or not, it didn't stick down forever. Maybe they didn't roll it down hard enough. Like I said, this is just going to be flashing. My problem with roof repair tape is that once there's a cut in here, now there's just a cool channel that will get filled up with water, and water won't have a way out. And that's not what flashing's supposed to do. But I know, installed correctly, it works 100% of the time, every time. Over the top here, this is a one-piece windshield. Don't see any issues with the reveal there. Fiberglass looks good all the way down. Clearance light looks good. And this is an oversized cap that comes way back here, so it's actually pretty solid. You don't have to worry about it collapsing like some of the more aggressively styled front roof caps. And all the clearance lights look good there too. We'll do one final little follow-up. Sealant looks good all the way on top of the entry door awning, top of the roof radius molding. All the hardware is there for that awning. And just so you guys know, on a Dometic Weather Pro awning, this is the wind sensor. It's nothing high tech. There's two thermistors in there. One is exposed to the weather and the wind, and the other one is coated in plastic in the molding. So when the wind blows, it's able to cool off the unprotected wind sensor or thermistor. And then it just uses a calculation to decide how fast the wind is blowing because of the temperature difference between the protected and unprotected wind sensor. But either way, that's just my long-winded way of saying never trust a wind sensor. If you're going to be away from the RV for any amount of time, put that awning away because you just can't trust those wind sensors. Well, believe it or not, we're done with the roof inspection on this 2013 Ventana from Newmar, and it turned out pretty well. It's 10 years old. A few little wear items that I made a note of on my notepad here. I will get that listed on the inspection. I'm going to finish up the inspection on the inside. I don't have enough time today. It may look bright as day outside, but it's getting pretty close to sunset, and I have to get this coach over to Kentucky in just a few days. So before I run out of daylight on this inspection, I'm going to finish up the inspection on the inside. I'm going to get this thing loaded up and ready to go to Harrodsburg, Kentucky to go see Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach. And we'll finish up the tour on the inside of this because it's a pretty nice floor plan, and this is a pretty short diesel. And I already drove a short diesel across country, and I think I might like this floor plan a lot better. But let me go ahead and get you guys to Kentucky. But first, I do want to document this little tidbit of information for, I don't know, people that are interested. This is the Salt River. It's dry, generally. It is the lifeblood of Phoenix, Arizona, and our winter rains washed out one of the main thoroughfares out of the valley. And so the mighty Rio Salado has come back to life and washed out our bridges. So I thought it would be interesting to at least record what is for me a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the destructive power of even a small river that I'm usually comfortably tubing down or paddleboarding down just up the way a little bit. Of course, no matter how destructive that water is, water in the desert will always be appreciated because of all of the life and beauty that it supports. But at any rate, let's get to Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach in Kentucky, where rain and water is as plentiful as sunlight in Arizona. Well, welcome back to Kentucky and Sewell Motor Coach. It's a little bit of a drive. I'm a little bit tired. Somehow I always bring the cold, wet weather to Kentucky with me. But it was an absolute dream driving this 2013 Newmar Ventana across country. Made it here safely. No damage, no accidents. Of course, having new tires was not a bad idea either. We'll get inside in just a second, but I do want to point out a few things that people ask too. It's a rear radiator engine, so I can't take a look at it, but it's a 360 horsepower Cummins. And it is a shorter wheelbase, so about 34, 35 feet. This drove incredibly well. It is a short diesel. I did drive a 33-foot short diesel across the country and back again before, and this one handled a little bit better. It still does get a little bit side to side with the heavy winds or when semi trucks are passing you, but overall it pulled the hills fantastic. I could pass with ease on the left, and the exclusive Newmar comfort control really made steering quite easy. Let's go ahead and go inside. I did just drive across the country, so still a little bit dirty, so cut me some slack. I do have the slide out rooms out. Now, I probably say this too much, but they packed an awful lot into a pretty short diesel, and it's probably because this is a full wall slide out on this side. And this is real porcelain ceramic tile throughout the entire coach, with the exception of the slide out and the bedroom, and that does have the inlaid glass and stone tiles on it. Now, like we already saw back in Arizona, the seats are actually in good condition. It does have the 4-point hydraulic automatic HWH leveling, which I do have down, and I did leave my drink right there to let everybody know that it can fit a Polar Pop or a Thirst Buster just fine. You won't have to update the center console on this one. If you notice, it does have a smart wheel on it. It does have a backup camera and side view cameras, in-dash navigation, and Bluetooth connectivity. I made a few phone calls from there. I even did enjoy how they incorporated the gauges. So you have the 2 air pressure gauges, oil pressure, and engine temperature right there in the pillar. So it does have the power front visor, so the privacy screen and shade controlled by the dash right there where it's supposed to be. All the rest of the shades are going to be just manual roller shades, which is what I do like also. Now, unsurprisingly, this is a Newmar, so all the cabinetry, doors, drawers, and trim will be solid wood. No TV on this one. They did locate the breakers in a very accessible area, along with the 12-volt fuses. I kind of prefer not having a front TV over the dash anymore. And they do incorporate a Sony home theater system right there with the HDMI splitter box above that. Another feature I'm not a big fan of, I know Newmar doesn't listen to me, they do put the control center for the entire coach located above the entry stepwell, but you will find the inverter, and this does have Oasis hydronic heat. Like I said, they packed a lot into this. That's going to be the monitor panel, and it does have the load shed and built-in surge protector unit in here. Gives you lots of great information. Kind of just wish they would have moved this whole thing right in here. I'm pretty sure they have some room if they just rearrange things a little bit. Now, behind the driver's seat, we'll find the driver's side slide out. Now, this is a full wall slide out that goes from here all the way back past that pocket door into the bedroom. All the countertops in the RV are solid surface Corian countertops. Rather than having the TV on a televator, it's just built into the wall right there, flanked on either side by windows. I kind of prefer this method. Televators might be a cool gimmicky thing, very impressive to show your friends, but that you don't have to worry about breaking or getting stuck up or stuck down or rattling. One nice feature on this table, obviously it doesn't turn into a bed, but it does extend out pretty far. So there are some folding chairs in the back, so you have additional seating. But what I did like about it, because I drove it across country without the slide out rooms in, so it was very accessible with the slide out rooms in. But I did notice this cool feature with this table and that sofa. I have the slide out rooms in there and right there. This is what I did figure out on this road trip. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but instead of having to sit at the desk to use a computer, I'm not saying these are uncomfortable, it's just not something you want to sit on for a long period of time. What you can do is use the sofa as your desk seat. So you can sit down on it, bring the table all the way to you, and this is pretty much a perfect work desk. So you don't have to have the slide out rooms out, and then the sofa is a much more comfortable seat for working on your computer. So I thought that was pretty interesting. There's a little release right there. That way we can push it right back in. It'll lock in there. There we go. Back here we find the galley countertop. I do like how they put it in at an angle, so it's kind of a wraparound countertop. Gives you that extra storage in the back right there. This does have a 3-burner propane stovetop, so it still does have propane. It's not all electric, but it does have a convection oven microwave right above. The backsplash is going to still be solid surface Corian. These are just little grooves with grout put in it to make it look like tile, but it does have tile incorporated into there. And then because this does have propane, surprisingly it doesn't have a residential refrigerator. It does have a RV refrigerator, so it works on propane and electric with freezer on the top. It does have an ice maker built into it. And I did use this on the trip, and it did keep everything nice and cold for me. no problems. Across from this slide out on the passenger side front slide out, we will find the sofa. Now this sofa does turn into a bed. It's a hide-a bed that will just deploy like a normal residential sofa bed. It's about a full-size bed. It does have the air bladder right there, so you can inflate this and make it a pretty comfortable bed. So that's a pretty nice sofa to have. It was actually very comfortable. I did use it quite a bit driving down the road. Not driving down the road, because it was just me driving. But when I did stop, I did sit there to relax. And it is positioned perfectly to actually watch TV. If I would have remembered to bring some movies. I didn't. Behind the sofa, we'll find the recliner. Now, the recliner is not bolted down, so it can be repositioned. And because it's a level out floor, you don't have a lip to worry about, or you're going to trip on it going in and out if you do take this out completely. So they did a good job on that. I do think there's a lot to be said about these nearly full-length windows. I was able to use this window and that window a little bit when I was the driver. It's nice to be able to actually look over and see if I had clearance through the window there. So as we go past the galley here, to the left will be the mid-coach bathroom. There is only one bathroom in here, but it does have a porcelain gravity toilet on it. Has the same solid surface Corian countertop with the integrated Corian molded sink. Above we'll find a mirrored medicine cabinet. And then directly off of there we'll find a very good size shower stall. Now this is a one-piece fiberglass shower stall, so it is seamless. Most impressively, it does have the integrated molded seat without the shower faucet in your back. So good job, Newmar, for figuring that part out too. It does have the 3-panel tempered shower door. I know these aren't everybody's favorite shower doors. A lot of people do end up taking that off and just put a shower curtain in. We gotta go ahead and try out the shower, right? It's gonna be about a standard 8-inch step up into here. I'm about 6 foot, so if I were to stand straight up in, ooh, that's close. If I was 6'2", I'd be hitting my head, so I'd have to duck to go in. And the shower head, I'd have to get it adjusted a little bit because I'd have to duck underneath. I'm 6 foot, so if I go to step out, I will hit my head, so I will definitely have to duck to get out. Overall, pretty nice shower. All right, in the hallway at the floor right here, we will find a central vacuum cleaner. It also has the built-in dustpan, and I did already let Doug know that the wall panel there was loose. Past these sliding double pocket doors, we will find our way to the bedroom. That's where we'll find the third slide out, which is a queen size bed. Now there is a little bit of storage underneath it. That's where we'll find our central vacuum cleaner attachments and the galley sink covers. Now across from the bed will be the last part of that full wall slide out. Remember, it ended right about there with the pocket doors. So right here we'll find the bedroom TV. A little dressing space, a little bit of countertop space here too. But what I think is pretty impressive is they still get a stacked washer and dryer in this short diesel. So that's a pretty nice bonus to get. And then over here is going to be the sliding mirrored closet doors. There's a travel lock right there you have to pop down. And then that'll give you access to your that'll give you access to the closet. And this closet does have a safe in it. That was it for the inside tour on this 2013 Newmar Ventana that I picked up for Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach. I did pick this up in southern Arizona and drove it all the way to Kentucky, and I found it to be a very, very useful floor plan. Surprisingly, fairly useful with the slide-out rooms in. So the last thing I'll do is I'll bring the slide-out rooms in and we can take a look at it and see what you guys think. And then all the slide-outs on this are going to be electric, so no hydraulic slide-outs you have to worry about. Alright, so all the slide outs are in. There is quite a bit of room on the back side of the seats. I think we already saw that before. It's a pretty good size aisleway here. Now these chairs, I did strap them together. They need to be strapped together a little bit better than this. They did like to move around on the tile floor when I was driving. And this recliner's not back completely all the way. That's about the narrowest part is right here. But I can still walk straight. I don't really have to turn sideways to get past there. Good access to the stove, the microwave, the galley sink. Most importantly, the refrigerator you can get access to. And naturally, back here into the bed, you can lay down in the bed easily. To get the closet, just like always, hello, you will have to hop over the bed. But you can watch TV and use the bed driving down the road. Newmar did make this door. It's not one of those hybrid pocket door middle hinge doors. It's about a full-size door, and they made it so it opened up from the front side. So you don't have to get skinny to walk through this door. Now with the slide-out room in, it will hit the refrigerator, but it's still a pretty wide opening and easy to walk through. That means you get to the toilet, the sink, and the shower fairly easily with all the slide-out rooms in. Now make no mistake, one person, it was livable. Two people, I can't imagine being that livable with two people and the slide-out rooms in. I was able to take you on the inside and the outside. We did an inspection together. I'm sure the last question you guys all have is, how much is it going to cost? I don't know. I'm going to have to go inside, talk to Doug. The really good news is, brand new tires are on it.
Brand new tires, ready to go. I got the bill here for it.
I know. Okay, I got you a good deal.
Yeah, it's great. It's just the cost of tires there, man.
Doug, how much?
Want a price, Mike, on that one? What, 139? I thought 149. 149? Listen, call me on the coach.
Doug Sewell with Sewell Motor Coach.
139.
139.
Yep. If you call Mike, it's 149. So if you call here and Mike answers the phone, just hang up on him.
Just hang up, say, I need to talk to Doug. All right, thanks a lot, Doug.
Yeah, all kidding aside, 139.
139.
Yeah.
139 even, 139.99.
Well, maybe we'll give an extra $1,000 discount. We'll call it 139 even for your viewers.
Okay, so 139 even.
Fully prepped, ready to go. We even allow, yeah, plus tax and license, and we do a full PDI on this coach. It takes us probably 7 to 10 days to do a PDI. You know all about that.
I do know all about it.
We don't kid around on our PDI, and we want you to come pick up the coach. We want you to stay with us for a night or two so we can really get you acclimated to the coach and all the systems and make sure you understand.
It's a really good policy.
Yeah, very, very important to us that we do things the right way and our customers are happy. Just check the reviews. Our Google reviews are awesome, so I think they'll speak for themselves.
Well, thanks a lot, Doug.
Yep.
All right, so there you go. $139,000, 23,000 miles on it. I'm guessing about 34 feet long. If you have any interest on this 2013 Newmar Ventana, you can reach out and contact Doug Sewell at sewellmotorcoach.com, and I will put a link to that website in the description there. At any rate, guys, thanks a lot for joining me again on another adventure from Arizona to Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Cross-country journey. I'm pretty tired. Thanks a lot. Bye. I mean, could I really miss the opportunity of seeing La Ventana as an arch with a Ventana RV? You have to stop. And I stopped. It's gorgeous. So there we are, La Ventana Arch. Of course, I'm sure as most people know, La Ventana is Spanish for the window. So I drove a window with windows in it underneath the window. Now, I wouldn't call it ironic, but in Arizona, there is another place called Window Rock. Wow, this is gorgeous. I could easily recommend this trip to anybody. Every RV can make it, as long as the weather's good. There is ice during the winter, so be careful. Well, I thought that was kind of cool. So what do you think? You want to buy an RV yet? Have I convinced you?
I've always wanted to, but I don't know. The only problem I have is
Time.
emptying stuff. And
Well, that's the nice thing about RVs. You keep it loaded with all your stuff, so it's ready to go whenever you're going.
Okay.
You don't have to unload it at a hotel or an airport.
You just lock it up and there you go.
There you go. Just don't store food in it, because that's how you get rodents.
Temporarily?
Well, when you're storing it.
Oh.
If you're living in it,
That's different.
that's different.
Okay.
I might have got some rodents in mine, which isn't fair.
Did you leave food in?
I didn't leave food in it.
But
They
They
found their way in anyways.
find their way in?
They find their way in.
Yeah.
But they found their way out too, because I caught them.
Ah.
People always ask me how to get mice or keep mice out, and I'm like, I don't know. All right, Mom. Thanks for spending the day with me. Let's get you home.
Okay. Thanks for letting me spend the day with
It was fun.
It was.
Quite an adventure to get
I
this
enjoyed it.
2013 Ventana. Are you interested in buying one yet?
Say what?
Are you interested in buying one? What will it take to get you in this vehicle today? Not too much. I just have to drive it around for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a chauffeur.
We'll consider that. We'll consider that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you could drive with it like that, but let's go ahead and put it up.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, I guess,
It is nice to have this out of the sun out of your face when you're driving.
and not have to have it closed down.
But it serves two purposes. Obviously, it's not a great visor because it doesn't block a lot of sun. Sun comes through them pretty well. This is a much better visor,
Yeah.
but it's usually set up so that they call it a shade, I think. That it usually with the ignition on won't come past a certain point, so you don't blind yourself accidentally.
Okay.
But you'll notice there's no wraparound curtain right here. So
No.
this becomes your privacy shade for at night.
That's what.
So then why do you have a day shade like that?
Yeah. So if you're parked and it's day, you can just put it.
Right, you can put those down and you have some privacy during the day. You don't have sun coming in. Windshield is the #1 heat gain and heat loss point in an RV. Because it's a vehicle, you still, as a driver, need to be able to see out of it driving. So you have that window, that windshield, that window right there. So you have a lot of glass all in here that lets in a lot of light and a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So any shade you can cast is always going to help.
Okay.
That was a good question. Got a little friend up there. And that friend has a friend. There they go. They disappear so quickly once they cross the road.